Happy Monday, XRP traders and investors. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. As I mentioned, it's Monday, January 27th. Hope you had a great weekend and hope you're well. In this video, we're going to be discussing Ripple versus the SEC. Could we potentially see a case resolution this week? We'll take a look at XRP as well. There was a sell-off. We did hit 265 USD. Realistically, we could see XRP ETFs anytime now. We have a new SEC, a new Congress, a new administration at the executive branch, and everything's pointing in the right direction. And I do believe that today is the day that Paul Atkins is incoming as the new SEC chair. So we'll take a look at the XRP chart in just a moment. I do think that the bottom, there's a very high chance that the bottom is in and that we could be seeing a massive explosion here in the not too distant future. But as always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. So we'll bring up the XRP chart. We'll take a look at the technicals in just a moment. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on that and the price action, what to expect in the days, weeks, months ahead. Before we do, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, take the bell. You've been notified on any future videos or when I go live. You can also follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. Shout out to Elon. And Elon did mention as well through Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, about putting a lot of the, pretty much everything will run on the blockchain, but putting government spending on the blockchain so that it's immutable and it's transparent. We can see exactly where every single dollar is going. And Larry Fink also mentioned at Davos at the WEF that he wants the SEC to tokenize bonds and stocks essentially. So put them on the blockchain and then it'll trade 24/7, 365, just like crypto does. I've been saying for many years now that that's where we're going. And now, we're seeing him mention that. It's pretty much the only thing that he's been saying is he wants stocks and bonds tokenized. And he says, RWAs, real world assets and tokenization, everything is going to be tokenized. And I would agree. I posted this video not too long ago. This was 4 days ago, the SEC closed door meeting, Ripple case resolution, perhaps my thoughts and opinions. I mentioned in that I didn't think that there was going to be a resolution because he was the interim acting chair at the SEC, Mark Ueda. So I didn't think that that would be the case. And I don't think they're going to make it this easy, right? When the case resolution happens, it'll come out when you least expect it. And they're not going to give you a heads up like this. And the reason why I said I didn't think it would happen in that meeting is because it was probably just preliminary talks. And why would it happen under an interim acting chair? It would probably just wait until the new chair comes in, which is Paul Atkins. And I wasn't sure exactly when he was supposed to come in. It said January 2025, whenever Gary Clown Gensler stepped down. The clown stepped down. So it basically just said January 2025 is when we should expect Paul Atkins, the new SEC chair. But I went ahead and asked Grok, when will Paul Atkins take over as the chair from interim chair Mark Ueda? And it says Paul Atkins will take over as the SEC chair from the interim chair Mark Ueda on January 27, 2025. So that's today. So we could see some approvals of some ETFs. We know there's many filings, or we could even see a case resolution with Ripple this week. I think it's very possible that we see it really any week now. I think, it makes a lot of sense that we should see an XRP ETF as well. I think that there's a good chance that the ETF gets approved first, and then we get a case resolution, and then a Ripple IPO announcement and further partnerships, Bank of America, etc. But markets were rattled today by DeepSeek, a new AI competitor from China. So speaking of Grok and AI, overall, I think it was just a much needed pullback in the markets. The S&P 500 SPY went from like 575 to 610, new all-time highs without any daily high or lower trend change. So that's what happens whenever you get that extended to the upside. But essentially, it's just volatility picking up. But we did drop below 100K on Bitcoin. We dropped down to around $97,000. And we'll see what happens here if we get official confirmation of Paul Atkins coming into the SEC. But ultimately, what's going to happen with the case with Ripple versus the SEC remains to be seen. But I do think that the most likely scenario is that we'll see the appeal tossed and they'll dismiss the appeal. And I think there's a good chance that they still make Ripple pay the $125 million fine. It's kind of hard to go against that judgment when it's already been done. And then, maybe it goes all the way to the Supreme Court for the institutional sales. But I think there's a good chance that they end up paying the fine, and they might even pay it in XRP, right? So if that were the case, that would be massive. And then it would further the US's interest into the asset. And there's talks about adding XRP to a strategic reserve, no tax on American cryptos. And XRP, if you look at made in the USA cryptos, it's leading all of them, right? It's always at number one on the list. So I just want to bring up the XRP chart here at the moment. So we were talking about this in the Powell Group private community over the weekend, and we were looking at another bull pennant, another pennant that I was anticipating to break bull, but I guess in hindsight, it's always 2020, but we should have probably expected a downside break because of how extended we were on, the S&P 500, and we had pennant after pennant after pennant on XRP, and they were all breaking bull. So it was due for a pullback and correction, and this was more than likely going to be the time. Actually, like I said, whenever I looked back, it had multiple bull breaks out of those pennants. So this would probably be the time where, everybody's expecting another bull break and it does the opposite, right? So that contrarian mindset. But taking a look at the hourly time frame here, we did confirm an hourly uptrend with a low, high, higher low, and higher high. And then there was an hourly bull flag as well that confirmed. We had a target of 304, and on that bounce, we hit 302.6. So $3.02, almost $3.03. So we basically hit that target. And then if we zoom out here and we could even see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross here on the hourly over the next couple of hours. So it's looking like the bottom could be in here at the moment. If we zoom out, I'll show you this pennant that I was talking about. So we had this pennant that broke bull, and then we had multiple ones before that. We had this, multiple year one, and then this one was just multiple weeks. It broke bullish, and then we had another one here on the daily time frame. And again, once everybody kind of falls into that camp of thinking, oh, okay, well, we just had pennant after pennant after pennant, and they've all been breaking bull, we'll expect more of the same. And then that's usually, like I said, when it does the opposite, and that's exactly what happened. But if we take a look at XRP here, so if we were to break out of this pennant bullish, our target would have been about 365. And if we broke out of it bearish, our target was 267. We hit 265. So you can remove the bull scenario, and because we broke out of it bearish, you just take I usually use the real candle bodies, and then you just move it out to the breakout point. And like I said, it was saying pretty much bang on there, which we did hit. So 267 was the target, and we hit 265. And the fact that we have a nice lower wick here on this dip shows us that the bulls are eager to buy the dip. I mean, we bounced over 10% there off of the low. And again, this is showing that, typically bulls love to buy the dip. They're still eager to buy the dip, and they're loving every minute of it, right? If you're like me, your bags are packed, but people who are, looking to add more XRP before, escape velocity and blue sky breakout, they're just, foaming at the mouth for these dips. And like I said, this is generally what happens when you see a big move coming. Same thing happened here, right? Lower wick, that marked the bottom. And it was essentially a triple bottom there, but another pennant that was forming, and it broke bull. And again, this time around, we should see a similar scenario, in my opinion. If this daily candle finishes with a nice lower wick, again, that's generally when it marks temporary bottoms, and we should expect higher highs from here. But as of right now, like I said, market's just waiting for some sort of development with regards to, in my opinion, the new SEC. I think we're going to see a flurry of ETFs approved, more than likely going to get a Solana ETF, a Litecoin ETF, and an XRP ETF, right? And then there'll be baskets, right? There'll be XLM, there'll be HBARs, and all of these will be packaged in one index or basket, and you'll be able to buy them. And I think that's going to be happening very, very soon. It could be as early as this week. And then, like I said, we could see a resolution in the Ripple case now with the new SEC chair coming in. Like I said, it's supposed to be today. Paul Atkins takes over, but he's going to want to come in and get familiar with everything. So it might not happen, right away. It might take a few days before we start to see any kind of development with regards to news or cases or, filings being approved. So we'll keep an eye out on that. But who knows? It might even be into next week or the week after. But I do think that there's a good chance that we can get some news out of the SEC over the coming week or two. But I mean, just imagine if we tokenize stocks and bonds, and there's so much growth ahead, it's not even funny. And then XRP on the weekly time frame here, we're going parabolic. We had the 50 and the 200 weekly moving average bull cross, and then the 200 and the 100 cross bullish as well. So like I said, I'm very, very bullish on XRP. I think, $8 to $12 this cycle, maybe even the next couple of months is very doable. And then I think, the most likely scenario is we get to around $14 to $16. and then we could see potentially $18 to $20 plus on the high end, in my opinion. But let me know if you agree with me, disagree with me. Always love hearing from you and encourage thoughtful discourse. But going into there, it's Rod with Powell Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth. Happy Monday, and we'll see you on the next video.